So I am going to get started in Paragon. So just want to make sure everyone can see my screen at this point. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with CMAs in Paragon, running our comps in Paragon, and then also doing a quick CMA in Paragon before I take you into Cloud CMA. So the first thing we want to do is find the property that we're looking for. Whether it's been listed before, you can pull it up. If it hasn't, you'll want to go to tax records to get as much information as possible. I am going to use a listing I currently have active. You are welcome to use the same listing, or if you have something you need to run the CMA on, you're welcome to use that. I'm going to be just typing in my address up here in my power search bar. So it's 38890 Shoreline. And it should be able to find it. And you can go ahead and open that up. I just want to pull the information with the square footage and more of the features of the house so I can pull good comps for it. So I've got it right here, and it is a ranch in Harrison Township. It is 3 bedrooms, no basement, no garage, so it makes it a little bit tougher for comps in that area. Square footage is 1760. So I'm going to go ahead and run a search first. So we're going to go up to search, residential condo. And we're now going to fill in some information on the property itself. If you have not used the search bar much, if you're not sure how to fill out the boxes, there is a magnifier at the end of each one, but you'll want to put in some of the features of the house. It is residential. If you know the information, you can start typing it and then select it. Or again, you can always click on that magnifier and make your choices there. So I'm going to click active. We do have some new statuses that you may not have seen before. These have been added because of our data sharing. Some of the other MLSs do use these statuses, so you can search them in those MLSs. I'm going to use my sold and my pending properties. And then we're going to go ahead and select save. For my closing date, you can start off with a beginning date as far back as you want to go. You can just click on the calendar and select it. Or I like to use this date range. So you want to make sure you have closed in your status in order for this date range to open up for you. Once you select that, you can go 6 months, 12 months back. I'm going to go ahead and go 12 months. And now I'm going to scroll down a little bit further, and I'm going to type in some of the information on the property itself. So for bedrooms, I want a minimum of 3 bedrooms. There's no basement, but I know it's tough to find many without basements, so I'm going to leave that open for right now. If it had a garage, now the garage was converted, so this did have a two-car garage at one point. But at this point, I'm going to skip the garage. I'm going to go straight to my square footage. With the square footage, I like to put in a percentage above and below the square footage of the subject property. So for this property, it's about 1,700 square feet, almost 1,800. So I'm going to go ahead and start as a minimum of 1,500 square feet. I'll go about 20% below and about 20% above. So I'll probably go up to 2,200 square feet. Now that I've entered this information, I'm going to scroll back. I did skip my area, and the reason I skipped the area is because I'm going to draw a map. And with the map, I'll be able to draw around the actual subject property and get the comps within the area that I'm looking for. So I'm going to scroll back to the top. Should be your 4th one down, should say search by map. We're going to go ahead and click on, you've got a little globe here, you can click on that. And when the map opens up, by default, the X is going to be your office location. So we want to recenter the map on the subject property. So if you move up to the top here, where it says center map and zoom on this address, we're going to type in the property address, 38890 Shoreline. And I usually put a comma, and then I do put the city in because I find if I skip it, there are times it takes me into another state. So I want to make sure I stay in Michigan. I'm going to go ahead and type that in, just hit enter. And a flag should appear right where the property is. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit here. So, oops. Sorry, 1 second here. I'm trying to move one of my controllers. Okay. So we're going to zoom out a little bit just so I can get a better area to draw. So I'm going to draw right around in this area. So you can go to your drawing tools on the left side of your screen. And you've got 3 options. You've got your polygon, your rubber band, and your radius. Your radius is going to do some type of circular map. Your rubber band will do a square rectangular shape. and then your polygon can do any shape that you need to, so you can get around things. Since the property, the way it's located and the way 16 Mile runs, I'm going to go ahead and use my polygon. With the polygon, you're going to click once. You're actually going to be drawing lines. So I'm going to start over here on 16 Mile. I'm going to click once here. I'm going to move my line tool. And when I want to relocate into a different direction, you have to click again. I'm going to go up a little bit further. Click. I'm going to go over to probably just before Jefferson area. Go up. Go over to South River. Bring that across. And down. Your beginning point is your end point. Once you click on it again, it should create your shape and property should pop up. So now I'm going to take a look at what my results are. Now, if you weren't able to fill in all the criteria at this point, you can go back. If you notice with the tab, residential condo, it's sub-tabs. So there's a criteria, my map search, which we're viewing, and then run search. We're going to go back a step to criteria. And at this point, you can fill in any other criteria that you may have missed and add that in at this point. And then we're going to go ahead and hit search to find the properties. So go to the right side, you've got a search button here on the right side of your screen. Select search and give it a second to load the property. Once the properties are loaded, we're going to go ahead and take a look at them. So if I had a lot of time right now and I was actually doing Real CMA, I would open up each one and view the photos and read a little bit more information about each one just to see what are good comps. Just because I've only have you for about an hour and a half today, I don't want to lose time and not be able to get through everything. So I'm going to bypass going through all the properties, and I'm just going to go ahead and select what I'll be using. So on the left side of your screen, you'll be able to see there's a box here where you can check mark. So this is an active property here. I'm going to go ahead and select it. You can shuffle these in whatever sort order you want. When you load a result, it's always going to be by price, low to high. But this is like an Excel spreadsheet. So for me, I may want to put these in the order of statuses. So I'm going to click on status and allow it to reload so all my actives and closed and pending are together. So I'm going to go ahead and select my actives just so they can see what's in the area. Now I do know in this area there is some newer construction, so I do want to avoid that because this is an older home. And then I'm going to take a look at my closed properties. And I know this one's newer, so select a few of those. Here's one of the older ones in that area. You could put structure style. It was a ranch. I could have added that. That would actually help reduce some of my results. And again, you can always go back a step because remember your sub tab is right up here. So I can go back to criteria at any point, make my changes and run the search again. Go ahead and add a few more. So just have some selected for your actives if you have any pending that you may found, and then a few of your closed. Okay. Once you have those selected, I'm going to show you first your quick CMA. The quick CMA is in Paragon. It is great if you are just running a CMA, maybe for a seller to get a price reduction, or if you're doing a BPO or dealing with a bank, because we typically don't want a 50-page CMA report. So if you look on the right side of your screen, you've got reports. If you click on that and go down to your header that says CMA, go down a little bit further, should be almost down toward the bottom. And when you click on that, you're going to have three options. You've got a quick view, which is a side-by-side comparison, a summary that's going to break down all your stats and your statistical numbers for you, and then the spreadsheet just shows the criteria that you'd use. So the first two are the ones that I use. We'll start off with your CMA quick view. Click on that. And you can see I've got a side-by-side comparison of the properties. And as I scroll through this, going to give you some information about the sales price. I've got information about the criteria in the house itself, school district, and public remarks. Now yours might look a little different, and the reason it might, because I did customize mine. You have an option to add additional fields or remove fields. If you look at the top of your screen, right in the center here, there's a customize button. Select customize, fields. And when this opens up on the right side of your screen, these are the items that you're currently viewing on your screen. The items on the left can be added in. If you're looking for something in particular, the easiest way to find it instead of scrolling through all of these items, because there's quite a bit, I would suggest going to the search button here in the top left of your screen and then type it in whatever you're looking for. So if it's, if I want to put in basement, which I believe I have, there it is, I can select it, and then you've got an add button here in the center. When you add any items to the criteria, it's going to drop it to the very bottom here. So I can now move this around in whatever order I want by just left clicking and dragging it. I can move it up, or I can select the items I want to move around. And there is a move up, move down button in the center. So if I want to click on that, it will move it up. And you can do multiple. If you have a few of these that you want to move up or down, you can select the multiple and select move up, and it does start, moving them up for you. So you can put these in whatever order is important for you. The nice thing about this is once you do hit save, it does make it a default for you. So the save button's here in the top right corner. You would just select save, and that will keep those changes. If you want to remove something, again, you can check mark it. There is a remove button right here. Just don't remove all, because that will take everything and clear it out. So you want to make sure you select just the first one that says remove. If you hit save, give it a second, it will now reload it with the changes that you made. To see the additional properties, you have an arrow here. So I have 11 properties, it looks like, total that I selected. So if I hit this arrow, it will select the next property and drop it in for you. The next report is our summary report. So if you go back to the right of your screen, go back down to CMA and select CMA Summary. Give this a second to load. Same as the view that we were on with the CMA report is the Customize button. So you can customize this just as well as your side-by-side comparison. So if you go to Customize, you can select Fields, and it's going to be the same options for you. Everything on the right is already on your screen. Items on the left can be added. Now, the difference with this one is you do have 3 different groupings in here that you've probably selected. So if you've included active, pending, and sold, if you look at the top under status, you have active, sold, and pending right here. So if I'm selecting active, any items I'm adding here are going to show under my active properties only. So if I need something specific for sold, I want to go down to sold and add in whatever I might need for that section. And once these are added, again, these can be arranged in any order that you would like. Just left click, drag them up and down, or you can check mark them and hit the move up and move down buttons and put them in the order that you want. And again, saving this will also keep it as a default for you, so you won't have to come back and redo the same thing again. Okay, so if you made any changes, you can hit save. Again, you can come back after you take a look at this and make the changes later also. If you didn't, you can hit cancel, take you back. Okay, and again, this will give you all the active properties, and you can see it'll break down numbers for you. It's going to give you your averages and your minimum, maximum, the median ranges for prices. Same thing for sold. Days on market's also included on here, and your pending. So it has a lot of good information, breaks your numbers down, very simple, not a lot of pages, and this can be again sent for price reductions or if you're dealing with a bank. Is there any questions to this point before I take us into Cloud? And Debbie, are we looking okay as far as chats? Is there any questions?
We only had the one question so far. That's good.
Okay. And that was answered. Okay, perfect. Okay, wonderful. So we're now going to go into Cloud. If you have not used Cloud CMA, hopefully you did sign up already for the site itself. You do have to register. So I'm hoping you won't get to that point. But if you do get to that point, you will have to fill everything in, and it'll get your account set up for you. So we're going to go ahead and use the same comps that we've used for this one just to save some time. So we're going to go back to our spreadsheet view. In order to do this, I'm going to go back to Reports, and I'm going to select at the very top should be some type of a spreadsheet. I have mine under my favorites, so I've got my MLS spreadsheet default. Okay, so once this is loaded, my property is already selected. If you want to make a change, you can, or if you want to add more or remove some, you're welcome to do that also. But we're going to go ahead and select this check up here at the top left. What that's going to do is remove everything that I did not select and just keep the properties that I have check marked, because then we're going to pull these into Cloud. So I'm going to select checked. The nice thing about selecting this is you can always go back. So if you look to the right of checked in the top left corner of your screen, there's all. So if you ever need to go back, you select show all, it will add all those properties back in for you. So now I'm going to go to the top of my screen, and there's an action button right in the top center. We're going to go down to Cloud CMA. At the very bottom of your screen. So go down to Cloud CMA, and you select that. Give it a few minutes to load. It's going to actually pull those properties right into Cloud for you. Okay, so at this point, you're going to see at the very top here, Create CMA Report. You have 4 tabs. We'll be walking through the 4 tabs today. Criteria, which is the first one. Then we'll go into our listings. We're going to customize, and we're going to publish our report. So at the top left here where it says Name the Report, you'll want to put in your client's name on here. If you want to use a property address, you can. I'm just going to put on here Class Test, so I know it's not a real CMA report. You can add some notes on here. This is, again, is just for you. So when you go back into your CMA, it'll be easy for you to locate which CMA you want. On the right side of my screen, it's going to ask for the subject property information. So I'm going to type in the address. As you start typing the address in, it should locate the property for you, and you'll want to select it underneath. So you can see it just started popping a few addresses. I don't want Indiana, I want Michigan, so I'm going to select this first one. Once you select it, it is trying to pull tax information, so it will pre-fill for you any information it can find. So it did pull my square footage. It didn't give me bedrooms, so I'm going to type in bedrooms. It did pull in the bathroom. The property type came in for me. If it didn't, you can select what type of property it is. And property subtype, which is going to be just residential condo. And under there, you have advanced information. So if you selected this, you can add additional criteria. So this is the year built in here. My lot size came in. Garages, there's 0 because they did convert it. For my area, I'm going to type in Harrison Township. And style, I will type in ranch. Again, you can add in as much information that you know. And then above that, you can add a photo. If you don't have a photo of property, if you can do a drive-by, that's great. You take a quick photo of it. If you pull tax records, you can pull the photo from there. If you've had the listing before and you have your own photo still in the MLS, you can also pull those. You'll want to save whatever photo it is on your desktop, and then you're going to actually click on this and allow you to search. Since it's my listing, I do have my photos, so I'm going to actually pull my photo for the property and put it in. And it should be right here. There it is, and then we'll select open. Once you select the property, you can now crop it. So I can actually move this out a little bit, maybe make it a little bit larger on each side. Make sure we don't cut off the house. If you don't have a photo, it will include an aerial photo for you, so don't worry, it's not going to be blank. So it's not a problem if you don't have one. So I'm going to select crop, and it should drop my photo in for me. Under the section, if you go down a little bit further, you're going to see to the left, your listing numbers are going to pop up in here. So this is where they pulled from Paragon. If you realize at this point you missed a property, it's not a problem. You can type in a comma, and then you can type in the next number or paste in the next MLS number that you need. If you look to the right, you have an option for quick and dirty. That's the search for comps in Cloud CMA. I suggest you don't use this. The problem with this is it does give you some information that you can adjust, but it doesn't give you a lot to adjust. So you can't get as close as far as comps go. I feel that the ones in Paragon are going to give you really good comps, and they're going to be more accurate than just pulling these. And these will also pull expireds and items that you probably don't want included in your CMA report. So it will save you a lot of time by starting in Paragon and then pulling them in. And at the bottom, you can see it says Fetch Listings. In the top right, you have Fetch Listings. That will take you to the next section. So we're going to go ahead and select Fetch Listings and just give it a minute to load here for us. It is pulling all the information from Paragon, so it does take a couple minutes just to pull all the information, the photos, and so forth. Okay, so once it loads, it should show up with a map at the top. So the map will show all the subject or the comps that you've selected. If you find the map is cutting properties off and you can't see them, you can zoom in, zoom out here in the bottom right corner of your map. So you can go as far out as you need to. If you scroll down a little bit further, The next option is going to be your subject property and a set price. So at this point, you can add a price that you might be suggesting for them to list. If you've not seen the home and have not been in the house, it's sometimes a little more difficult to do. So usually I keep this blank, or if I have a range in mind for that area, I can type in a range. So maybe I feel that it will sell between 130,000 and I can put a dash to 140,000, for example. So I can add that in. Again, you can leave it blank and not include that price. You just want to be really careful with these sellers because they may have a completely different price in mind and it may be 10, 20, 30,000 above what you're thinking. So at the same point, you don't want to lose getting the listing. So, feel it out and decide which way you want to go. So it can be included, or it doesn't have to be. But it does have an option to do a net sheet for you. So if you do include this, in the right side here where it says price guide and net sheet, if I select this, I can actually start typing in the expenses that they're going to have at closing, so what their closing costs will be, so their title fees. I can put in the amount. Again, I'm just going to throw in some numbers here just to show you. So I put in 1,000 and I select save. What it does, though, is whatever number, if I do have a price in here, it starts off with the first number I've selected. So if I have a range, it's going to take that first number and it's going to actually use that to reduce their net by their cost. Their closing costs at this point. If I include one price in here, obviously it's using that. If I don't include a price, it will just show a negative with the amounts of their fees. If you haven't met with them, you may not know as far as their mortgages, what balance they have, if they've got an equity line. Again, this sometimes is not as easy to do without actually meeting with the client. So if you don't want to use this, you don't have to. It is an option for you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit trash. I can remove that. And I will keep my range in just to show you what it looks like when you get to that point on the report. Okay, I'm going to close this up. Under your subject property here, you've got the listing. So these were the items that we had selected from Paragon. I can take a look at these one more time to make sure these are the ones I want to use. I don't have to go back and remove them if I decide something that I don't want to use it. For example, this one that closed for 169, maybe I feel it's too high, or actually this one at 260 is way too high for that area. So if I want to remove this, I can just uncheck it. If I'm not sure if I want to remove it, I want to view more information. If you look under where the check mark is, it says details and adjustments. If I select details and adjustments, it's going to show me my photos again. There's an arrow here and I can actually scroll through and take a look at the interior. It's going to give me some more of the features of the house and the remarks and additional information at the bottom. So I can make any changes that I need to at this point by just unchecking it. I can also adjust the price on it. So you can make adjustments in here. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And again, if you want to uncheck or remove anything, I might remove some of these higher ones. You can just uncheck it. It does make it cloudy. The other option is what order these will appear in your report. If you look at the top here where it says listings, sort listings, there's a drop-down menu, and I can sort it by any of these items. I typically like to do a manual sort, so I like to move them in whatever order I would prefer to have them. So I can do manually, and I can just drag them. I like to have them in a price range. So usually I'll go from low to high. I'll start off with my active. So we'll go remove that, move this one up. And if I go down a little bit further for my closed properties, I can move those around also in the order that I want. So again, you can drag them up and down. The other option is I can add additional listings at this point. So if I forgot to, I don't have to go back a step. I don't have to start over. If you look at the bottom here, it says add a listing. You have two options in here. You have an MLS number, or I can actually type in the information. One option you have for tax records is RealList. And if you haven't done much with RealList, we do have a class for it. In RealList, I can actually pull comps. And the one advantage of comps in RealList is I can pull for sale by owners. So if I'm having a tough time finding comparables, it's a great way to get some of those for sale by owners in there. So I can actually type in all the information here that I find in RealList on the property that was sold by owner. Okay. And then you just hit add listing at the bottom. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. And I'm going to go to my next step. So you have an option here to customize your report at the bottom or at the top right. So go ahead and select that to go to our next step. And just give it a second to load for us here. Okay, so as it loads, a few things to show you here. On the right side, it's going to give you all the information about the report that we'll be customizing. It's going to give you all the pages that are included in this report. On the left, additional pages are included, and each one of these actually open up, and you can see They're broken down by sections. At the very bottom here, you have this Power Pack pages. These are an upgrade. So if you're going to use any of these, there is a charge for them. They may have some type of free trial. I'm not sure. I haven't used them, but there is a charge for these. So usually with the pages that you have, there's a lot of information in here. You typically don't need more. Plus, you can upload anything you'd like. So you can include other pages in here that you might want to include to show your client. So let's take a look at the right here. Let's start with customizing the report itself. So first thing is theme. Go ahead and select theme. And it gives you a color options. There are two types of themes. We've got modern, which are newer. You click on this drop-down menu, you can see. And at the very bottom, you have our original ones that just show colors. The others will say modern and then the color. I like to select something that matches my logo. You can use any color that you'd like. I typically use the red and black. And again, you have two different options. So if I go down to our original, the red and black, these are classic. This is the view. You get a few pages of it. So it has these header and footers. Your information is at the bottom of each one. And you can see the view is a little different. If I go back up to the modern, and let me go back to my red and black, you can see it looks a little different here. So I don't have the colored bars at the top and the bottom for my header and footers, but I do still have my contact information at the bottom. And you can see, again, it fills its pages in a little bit more. So I like the modern view. Again, you can choose whichever you like. When you find the one that you want to use, you have choose theme at the bottom. Whatever you select now will be a default. So next time you come in here, it will keep the same one for you. And again, you can change it at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my modern view and select choose theme. Okay, so to the right of that is our layout options. Now you have 6 different options here. The last 3, 2-column comparison, 3-column comparison, and a 4-column comparison will give you the least amount of pages. Those are going to actually put multiple properties on one page. You won't see a lot of photos. You won't have a lot of information. If you need something that is a shorter package or shorter report and you don't want too many pages, again, you can use these. I prefer to use one of the first 3, photo with map, 2 photos, or photo with maximum data. So a lot of times I like to use the max data. Under there, you've got an option for covers. Covers, again, are an upcharge, so if you do use these, they will charge you for it. Your cover page will be your title page, and it will have that photo and the property address and your client's name on it. So it does have a nice page for a cover page. To the right of that is fonts. You can select any of these fonts. Any font that you select, it will change everything in your report the same. So it will be the same font used across. So just find something that's easy to read. You know, depending on the client, you might want something more bold, or, you know, with any of these are actually really good fonts to use. Okay. And if you notice here, you have templates. So it does have some templates set up for you. You can also create your own templates. So if you select templates, you have an option for the built-in. So select built-in. These are the options that you have. You have all pages, appraisers report, and it tells you how many pages are included, a buyer CMA, comps only, pre-listing package, and a follow-up report. So depending on the client, you could select one of these. You can also create your own, and if you look at my custom, I do have quite a few in here. And the way you create them, I'm going to go ahead and X this out and go back, is you would add and remove whatever pages you want, and then you would save it. So if I take a look here, you've got your title page. You have this red circle that appears as you touch them. If there's something that you want to remove, you just click on it. So for example, agent resume, you have to create it. I don't have mine set up. If I select this, it will remove it out of my report. Same thing with our company. It does have, I believe, a pre-written. It can be changed. There's an option to go under your settings, which I'll show you later, and you can modify some of these. What is a CMA? Contact me. Again, you know, these will be all included. Adjustments, I didn't make any, so I can go ahead and remove that. If you remove something or you want to add something back in, if you go to the top left and find the item, so let me go down to more photos, for example, you've got this plus sign, you select it, it drops it back in on the right side. So everything on the right will be in your report. So I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anything else in here I want to add in. Maybe CMA first appraisal. There's some great pre-written information. Some of it you may not like. Again, once you go through this, you can add all of it if you want right now, remove it later. That way you get an idea of what you like and what you don't. You can actually add your testimonials from one of your pages if you've got a website and you have testimonials, or you can upload them in here. And then again, you can do custom pages, which is great too. So as I go through this report too, I can now put these in whatever order I want. So we're going to actually drag them up and down like we did before. So I'm going to go down here. So for example, I'm going to actually remove this one, but maybe I want CMA versus appraisal moved up. You can see my 4 arrows up here, left click, drag it, and move it as high up or as low as you want it. Any of these, again, if you don't want to include it, just remove it. So I think I'm pretty good. You do also have an option to preview these. You'll see as you touch them, little eye appears here. If you click on it, it should load and you can do a quick preview of that page. And seller's net sheet, I did not do one, so I'm going to go and remove that. But I did my list price, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so I think I've got quite a few in here. Now, if I want to save this report to use it another time, I'm going to go to the very top, over to the right where it says template, select template, and you can see where it says save as template, very first one. Left click on that, name your template, and hit save. So when you come back in here later, if you go to custom, that template will be saved in here for you. You can just select it, and it will actually load those pages next time instead of having to click and remove this or click to add something. It will save you a ton of time. So if you want to create these as you go along, I would suggest it. Again, it makes it much easier. So if I want to use this as like a new listing package, I can add any of these. We can do this one, update a pre-listing package. We'll drop that in. And you can see now my pages are dropped in the order that I had selected in that template. Okay, so we are now going to create our report. So at the top right, publish report. Here at the very bottom also, you've got a publish report. So either one of these will get you to the next section. And this will take a minute to load. Is there any questions at this point, or Debbie, do you have anything that I can answer?
No questions at this moment.
Okay, great. Okay, this will just take a minute here to create it, and once it publishes, we can take a look at it. You will notice in the bottom right corner, I do have an edit option. When you select edit, which I'll show you in a minute, it will take you back to those 4 tabs and we can make changes, but it looks like mine's done. So it says here at the bottom, view PDF and view slideshow. So you have 2 options. The PDF is going to give you all those pages in the PDF format. The slideshow is great with a iPad or a tablet. It does work with a computer. You can use it with a laptop or your desktop, but it's more mobile friendly type thing. You can use it on your phone, and they can actually just swipe through and look at the pages. It is limited, so we'll take a look at that. And I'm actually going to select view PDF first and let that load. And I'm actually going to open that one up if it's done. Let's see if it's done. I believe it's done already. Let's make sure. Okay, perfect. It did open up for me. So your download should have either come up at the top if you have an arrow, or you should have it at the bottom. So if you're trying to open yours up and you don't see it, look at the bottom or top. It just depends what browser you use. If you can't find your page all of a sudden, if you look at the bottom, wherever your browser is, it should always minimize down here so you can always get back. I'm going to go to the PDF view to show you what it looks like. So my report is 49 pages. You can see it is a pretty large report. So again, you can always adjust that by the amount of photos that you use or what type of report you use. But let's go ahead and I'll zoom in a little bit here. So this is going to be your first page, your cover page. So if you didn't have a photo, you should have an aerial view here, property address, and then it'll have your information. And then it talks about whatever pages you included. So I have a company information, what is a CMA, contact me page with all your information. Again, in the bottom, you can see my contact information is also on the bottom of every page. Here's our map, and then it shows me the comparables that I selected. There's a summary report of them. And then it gives me my listings first, and here's the first one. So all the information is pulling in and all the photos. I selected the first 12 photos plus all the additional, so there's a lot of photos included. Again, that will make a much larger report. And I'm going to kind of scroll through these pretty quick here just to show you a little bit more of the reports that are going to be included that I selected. I'm going to pre-written. I did have quite a few comps, so we'll scroll down a little bit further. So once you get through that, you're going to get into your statistics. So it's going to break down the numbers for you on the properties. I had 4 actives and 3 sold. It's going to also do my sold property analysis from list to sold price, how many days on market. Then it has this marketing action plan. This can be modified. So if you don't like the way it's written up, you can make changes on it. Intelligent pricing and timing, talks about listing at market, at market value and getting more activity. Curb appeal, uncluttering your house for showings and open house checklist. Moving checklist. Again, lots of information here. Your client may not need any of this. I mean, there's things here you might want to show them. There's things you may not. So again, you can make changes as you go, depending on the client and why you need a real estate commission, syndication, and so forth. So it has a lot of content. So again, to pay for additional pages, you probably don't need to. And again, you can upload whatever you would like. So you can add in any additional pages that you would want to include. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I would like to show you the slideshow. So the slideshow, I prefer to use when I'm sitting with my clients. And the reason I like using this is because it's not 50 pages for me to walk through. I can actually go through and look at the interior of the photos and, and give them a little more information so we can compare and decide what price we want to start off at. So as this loads, you're going to notice a couple things here. Information here on the property, the name. If you've got your client's name, should show up here. In the bottom right corner, there's a house and arrows. Now, if I was on my iPad or a tablet, you're not going to see this. You're just actually going to be swiping to get through the pages. But because I'm on a desktop view, you'll see the arrows here in the bottom right corner. So the arrow to the right will take me to my first page, which will be my contact page. And then if I click again, it's going to give me my map. I'm going to go to sold homes first. If you notice now, I've got an arrow down. When you've got the arrow down, that means there's an additional information on that page. And it just gives you a little bit of byline about sold homes. Go to the right again, and it gives me my first property. Now, you'll notice there is not a lot of information. It's going to give you property address, how many bedrooms, bath, square footage. To the right, the price it sold for, and when it closed. But the idea of going through this is I want to see photos. I want to compare that interior with my client's interior to show them, what a good price point would be. So if you look again here to the bottom right corner, I have my arrow down, and there's my first set of photos. This one looks like that's all it's included, so I'm going to hit the next arrow down again, and this one has more interior, and it does say more photos, you can see. So I can just keep going through. We can take a look at the interior photos. So there's quite a few, and then I can hit the next arrow. So it will now take me through each one, and we can view those. My active homes are in here. I'm going to kind of bypass through all these real quick. And then it's going to start giving me some averages here. So here's the average in my solds, my average in my actives in the area. And here's my analysis. We'll break down my list of sold price based on market. And here's my suggested list price. So like I said, you can use a range. This is where your range will come in. Or if you have a price in mind, or if you already discussed it, you want to use this price with them, go ahead and include that, and that will show up on this page. Otherwise, you will not see this page. Select the right. Next steps to getting started. And then this thank you. So if you look here at the top, full CMA of your home, if I select this, it's going to download that PDF again. So as I'm sitting with them, I can go ahead and open it, or I can just put their email address and send it to them right from here. Okay, so again, nicer way to sit and do a presentation with your client than going through that whole 50-page PDF report. Any questions at this point? Go back to CMA, which should be at the bottom. Okay, so let's take a look at the other options here in my report. So if you don't see your report again, you want to get out of what slideshow, whatever you're viewing. If you go to your browser at the bottom, you should still see your Cloud CMA open somewhere. In the top here on the right, you've got these three dots. These will give you more options. So I have an option here to copy my links from my PDF or slideshow. I like to email usually from my own email. You can email it directly from here, but I would sometimes send it just from my own, and that way I can see that it went through. So I can copy the PDF link or the slideshow link and send it to them. I can send them both if I'd like, right from my email. If I select email report from here, I can now type in my client's email address, type in whatever the subject property is, and if you look here, here is the link. Now at the bottom, I do have an option to select slideshow. So if I do include it, both links will be in here so they can view both. The reason that you want to include a link and not attach that PDF is it's going to be a large file. Typically, it's too large to attach to any email, and it's going to get kicked back. So you do want to include these links, and it will just download right to their computer for them. Okay, there's an X in the top right. I'm going to go ahead. If you want to send this to yourself, you're welcome to, so you can see what it looks like or how the email comes in. I'm going to hit this X in the top right and close that out and go back to this section. Okay. So again, you also have an option to this home beat, which is supposed to be coming. I haven't gotten too much information or really worked with it much, so this will be something as soon as we have more information, we'll go through with you. You can delete the report right from here. So if you want to get rid of it because it was just, a class report, you can delete it right from here. If you want to modify any report, you can just select the edit in the bottom right corner of this section right here. When you select edit, it's going to take you back to the first step of those 4 tabs that we walked through. Now, if I don't need to make any changes right here, I can just skip through to any tab. I can just click on the tabs. I don't have to walk through each one again. If I make a change, maybe I want to add another MLS number, please select these update listing or select whatever tab to take you into the next section. Because if you don't, it's not going to include that update you just made. It will revert back to what your original was. So if I want to skip through and maybe go to customize, I can just click on customize. And now I can make a change to my theme. Maybe I want to remove some of the photos or change, some of the pages in here. I can go ahead and do that. But once you do any changes at all, you must select publish report to go back. And that will take you back into your report. It will make your changes and create a new report for you. Okay, is there any questions at this point? Everyone pretty good, Debbie? Are we doing pretty good here?
You're doing good. You are entertaining them so much they have no questions for you.
Wonderful. Okay, well, great, because I can get through more stuff there for you. So wonderful. Okay, so we are good with the CMA. So again, just a quick cap over it. We basically went from Paragon, found our comps, selected them, and we used this action link right here. Took us to Cloud CMA, and then at that point, you were able to go through your 4 steps and create your report. Okay, so let's look at our settings. So I want to show you now where you can find your actual reports that were customizable, ones that you can create, ones where you can upload, and let's make sure your information is correct in here too. So at the top here, you should have your photo. If you don't have a photo, we can add them. You'll probably see your initials. So go to the top right, and again, if you can't find this, go look for your browser at the bottom of your screen, select it, and it should open it back up for you. So go to your section right here. And we're going to go to the first one that says account settings. So let's go to account settings. And you'll see that there'll be multiple options here on the left once this opens up for you that you can go through each section. This is just taking a second to load here. Okay. So with the account settings, your photo's at the very top here. So you're going to change your avatar. So if you need to change your photo or you want to add a photo, select change avatar. And that's going to allow you to select your picture. So you'll find your photo, you're going to select it, and it will drop it in for you. If you go down further, your full name should appear here, company name, and then you have an option to add your company logo also. So if you don't have one in here, you can select this, just click in the box, and then you can look for your logo and select it from there. Okay. If you want to remove it, you can remove it right from here too. Make sure your email is correct, city where you're at, and your state. If that, want to correct that, hit any changes, hit save profile. So make your changes and make sure you hit save. So that way it keeps your new photo, your new logo, or any other changes you made. All right, if you look in the top left here on this left section, under profile, you have contact info. Select contact info. This is the information that appears at the bottom of every one of your pages and also your contact me page. So if you want to make changes here, you can. Check the information at the bottom, make sure it's correct. If it's not, you have to remove it. So you'll hit the trash button, and then you'll have to add it back in. So once you hit the trash, at the top here it says contact method. There's a drop-down menu here. Select what you're adding in. So maybe I'm going to add in a different office address. You'll type it in here and then select add, and then it will drop it back here for you. Then you can actually drag these up and down in whatever order you want them. Okay, so again, any information you want to add, you can. You can add your Facebook business page, your LinkedIn page. I mean, anything you want to include can be added at this point. Just make sure that you select that, and it will say those changes for you. Okay, to the left of your page, again, we're going to go over under contact info. Password, please don't make changes to your password. It is a single sign-on, so that means when you go into Paragon and log in, you can click right from the link. It takes you right in the cloud, so you're not asked for another password. So please don't make changes to your password. Same thing with MLS credentials. It should have you under MiRealSource. If you have any problems with either one of these, contact the tech and we can help you with it. Under there's custom pages, let's select that. So custom pages is anything that they already have pre-written that you can make changes, or a page that's included that you can edit or add. And it's also ones that you can upload or include in here. So I have an option to create any page I want. So I can put on here, test, for example, select add. It's now going to open up a page for me, and I can type in whatever I need to or paste in whatever I need to. I can add photos, and then I can save it. You can also rename it. You can delete it right from here. So I'm going to just remove it. When you create these custom pages, it is going to have that in your section where we customized and added our pages in. At the very bottom, you have a custom page section. So you'll select that, and those pages will be in there. So that option is to use in any one of your reports. The pages under here will be the ones that they've already included, plus anything that you may have created. And if you want to make changes, select the pencil. For example, agent resume. Haven't really gone in and filled mine in. So you can come in here and paste it in, make whatever changes you need to, and save it. Okay. And again, you can upload anything you'd like. So you can add additional pages. I've included my picture of my map showing data sharing in the database. So you can see where this is great to show your clients all the data sharing that we're doing and the exposure that their listing is getting and the access that we have to properties all over, Michigan. So this is a great picture to include. So what I did again to do that is at the very bottom here is upload PDF. So if I select upload PDF, it's going to search on your computer and you add that in. The other great thing to include is your market stats. So I have mine here for February, so now I'm going to go in and actually update. I need to update it for the following month. But all I did was I select upload, added this in, and now I can include these in all of my CMA reports if I choose to. All right. And that is the custom pages. And that's basically all that you want to use here on the left. If you look at the top right again where your photo is, you do have an option for lead generation. And we actually do have a little extra time here. So I will show you the lead generation tool real quick. It's a free tool, a great way to pull some leads in. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And what it's showing you is your landing page. So this is basically what you're going to see on the page when you share this. And what it is what is my homework? What it's going to do is actually put a page on my Facebook or any social media site or my website that anyone can select, and they can run a quick CMA. And it will actually send that CMA to them. It will send the CMA to myself. And then I can actually contact them because it will give you an email address and possibly a phone number if they put their phone number in. And then you can do a real CMA for them and potentially get hopefully a listing out of it or maybe a buyer. But I'm going to go ahead and do one to show you what it looks like since we have a little bit of time here. So if you go under share, you can embed it, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. I'm going to go ahead and select Facebook. And it's going to take you into your Facebook page. Now, if you're not signed in on your computer, it's going to ask you to sign in. So you'll want to sign in. And you can see here at the top, it says share to news feed or story. I'm going to select share on a page I manage. So I want to share it on my business page. You can share on your personal, but I would share on my business. So I'm going to select that. And it's going to show my business page name. And then you'll want to type something in. You don't want to just throw this out there because they're going to have no idea what it really is. So you'll want to type in some type of a byline to attract them so they actually could select it. So I might type in here, inventory is still low and market values are still high. Are you thinking selling your and then something to select the link below. I can type today, I do well. Select the link below to see. And the reason I'm putting recent activity in your area net comps, because it's going to be pretty broad. It's going to do that quick and dirty that we saw in the very beginning. That's what it does for it. It's going to do a quick and dirty search. It's going to pull everything around them. It's not going to be specific to their home and doing a more accurate CMA like we could do. But the reason it's doing this is just at least pulling in that potential client, and you can see that they have an interest, and then you can contact them to do one there. So I'm going to go ahead and include this. So at the bottom here it says post to Facebook. I'm going to select that. And now I will go into my page to show you how it posts. So I'm going to go to my business page. I want to load here. Oh, sorry, it's taking a second to load here. Okay, there we go. And once this gets down here, I can scroll down a little bit further and show you what it looks like. The nice thing is when this is created, you will get an email alert that a CMA report has been created. Here it is. Inventory still low, market value still high. You can keep selling your home. Select the link below to see recent activity in your area. They would click on this, and when they do, it's going to ask for their property address. You have to put that in. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in my shoreline listing real quick to show you the steps that they're taking. And there it is. Select it. And they need to put in their name, email. They can put in the square footage, which will help at least with the comps it pulls. And the phone number is optional. So they don't have to put this in, but you will always have their name and their email. So you will receive an email notification. Also, if you go to your cloud, once this is created, I'm going to go back to my CMA reports. I should have one in here. It's going to show you in here as well as your email. I'm going to go down. It will actually have a picture of whatever social media that you posted to. So you'll know it was created. So here's one right here. You can see sent to this test one I did. There's a Facebook. So when one is created, you will get it also saved it here with your CMA reports. You'll see CMA. It'll also be in your email. So you will get 2 notifications. And then you will be able to open it and view what they're seeing. And again, it's going to be just a quick CMA for them. But it's enough, hopefully, for you to have an idea that they might have an interest in potentially listing or buying, whichever it may be at that point. Any questions?
I did have one, Lisa. So when you're picking your reports in Cloud CMA, Karina wanted to know if your company logo goes into the customized. Oh, that's the customized pages. I might have answered that incorrectly.
So she would like to know if our logo is going to be actually in our reports.
Right. So I know they go in the reports. However, I just read this a little differently. It says, does your company logo go into the customized pages? So
the custom pages. Let me open up one of my custom pages, and we can go take a look at one of those. Hang on, let me see what it pulls in there. You can add photos, so I believe you'll be able to add it in, but let me double check before I give her the incorrect information. So let's see. I don't believe, so my map, I don't think it added it in here because that was one that I uploaded.
Right, so I think if I'm thinking about her question correctly, if it's a custom page like that you're adding in right where you are now, that's something that you would want to make sure that your logo is in your custom pages, because it's not going to add the footer to those custom pages at all.
I don't believe it will either. No, I believe you'll want to add that in, because just thinking of these, I don't think, but if you go into here, actually, let me just go back into like the resume itself. There's an option for photo up here. So this is where I would click and insert my logo or anything else, because like for this one, there's nothing. So you definitely want to include any logos or any other information that you want for yourself to include that in there.
And you're quite welcome, Karina. All righty.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Well, we got through the class really quick.
Yeah, you were at breakneck speed today.
Yes, it was.
But still perfectly understandable.
Yeah, hopefully it wasn't too, and we didn't have a lot of questions, so we got through pretty quick. So you do have the option again. There's buyer tour up here. You've got a property report, a flyer. which I can show you. To get these from Paragon, you can pull your buyer tours, basically listings that you're going to be showing a client, instead of printing the reports right from Paragon. Let's go back in here, take you back into Paragon. Instead of printing these, so I'm going to go back to my reports here and remove my closed. So I would take my active properties and I can pull these right into Cloud and select Cloud CMA Buyer Tour. So what it's going to do, instead of giving me the MLS client view or the buyer reports that I use in here that I print for my client, I can do a buyer tour, which will include some photos and an area where they can actually mark the properties if they like them or not, and make notes and so forth. And this Cloud CMA Buyer Tour will actually pull it right into Cloud for you. And it's going to take you back to the same 4 steps that we did for CMA. So any one of these will actually take you through 4 steps. It's the criteria, listings, customize, and publish. It's the same for all of them. So in here, you'll put your client's name, you fetch the listings, and then it would create, I'll show you what it looks like, a nice tour. So if you've got a client maybe moving in, so I had someone that was moving from out of state. They were great to do this for because I could show them additional information in the area, like schools in the area and things like that. So let me see if I have one that was created from before that I can show you. I think this one should be one, though. Let's make sure here. And you can just include as much or as little as you want. So you can see these were the properties. And if I go down, here's the first one. I did the photo with a map. It gives a couple photos, and then here's where they can actually mark it if they like it. They can rate the property and make some notes, which is really nice. And then it goes to the next one. So it's not going to give you a lot of interior photos like the MLS client view or the buyer full package. It's not going to give you all of those, but it does give you all the remarks and that information. And it's great because they can just make notes as they go through it. Let me see if I included for them. I did area information or not. I may not have included it. So it does include information for restaurants, schools. This one did not. But those are all under your customize. So if I go back into my Cloud, if I edit this, you do have an option to include those under my customize section. And just to show you real quick, so you can see what you can do here. You can see these are what I had included, but I do have more photos can be included, schools can be included, guidance. This online valuation estimates, these are Zillow's estimates, so I don't like including mine. You're welcome to include yours if you'd like, but I prefer not to, but those are there. But guidance, there's more information here for them. The down payment, should you wait to buy a home, different things. Again, you want to read through these and see what you'd like for your client, what you can't, don't like. And your custom pages are also an option to use in here too, so you can add things for them here as well. So that's your buyer tour. Your property and your flyer, property report and flyer. The flyer will give you a 1-page that you include in your listing. The property report will give you more information about that specific listing. So these are great if you've got a listing that you want to do an open house or you just want flyers to include there. I'm going to go back to my Paragon. You would actually go to your listing itself, and you have 2 shortcuts here. Underneath your address information, you have Cloud CMA here and Cloud CMA here. One is your flyer. The other is a property report. So the difference is the flyer is only the 1 page. The report itself will give you multiple, and I can show you what those look like without actually going through again. You would click on that. It would walk you through the 4 steps to create it, but I have some created. I can just open up to show you instead of going through all of that. So for example, my Peterson one here, if I hit view PDF, and this is a flyer I used in my listing, and here you go. And you have multiple options for it. So this is the actual property report itself. There's 10 pages, but you have multiple templates you can use and pages. And you can see contact me pages on there, details about the property, photos, more photos, more photos, more photos. I did quite a few on this one. And then area schools I included, and area restaurants. And those, again, can be included in your buyer tours as well. And the last one is going to be your flyers. And same thing, I'm going to go ahead and click on that just to show you what one looks like. And we can do this one. And they're very easy, like I said, 4 steps, just like your CMA or your buyer tour. You're going to just click and it'll walk you through the steps. Okay, so here's this one I did on my listing. So I included my photos. It has this QR code. This, if they click on it or they scan it, it actually opens up that property report. So it will give those additional photos and additional information. And it gives my public remarks, information about the property here, and then my contact info at the bottom. So that is your flyer. So again, to get to the easiest way to find these is your listing itself is the property report in Cloud CMA, the shortcut there. The buyer tour, you're going to go right directly from the properties themselves and select the active actions, buyer tour, and then if you're doing Cloud, you're going to select closed and so forth, same thing, actions, Cloud CMA. So that is everything. I was able to go through actually quite a bit. Is there anything I can answer or show again, or something I went through too fast or skip through? Debbie, how are you doing? Any questions at all at this point?
No, none so far.
Okay, well, I think we are done. So again, to find our PDF links that we have for you with the handouts on the right side of your screen where you've got your chat, there should be a section that says handouts. If you open it up, there's two PDFs, CMA handout and the Cloud CMA adding PDFs. Those are both in there. We wrote them as we teach them pretty much, so they're easy to follow. There should be some screenshots, and hopefully those will help you. And just play with this when you're sitting around. It makes it easier if you're using it. So again, I hope everybody, hopefully this was helpful. I didn't go too fast through it. I would prefer to be in a classroom with everybody, and hopefully soon enough we can do that. But again, these classes are available. We have a ton of virtual classes. Please come and go to as many of these as you'd like. And hopefully we can help you keep some business going as we're stuck at home right now. And if there's anything else, you can chat again or put your hand up and we can unmute you at this point. Otherwise, I think I've covered everything. Is there anything else, Debbie, is there anything that I missed?
No, we have a lot of thank yous coming in. We got Charles Lutz, Rick Hovarter, Joe Anderson, all with thank yous, and a big stay safe out there as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the class. All of you stay safe and stay healthy, and hopefully we'll be able to see everybody soon.
Yes, yes, indeed.
All right. Thanks, Deb. All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa. It's good seeing you again.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.